Yu Otasaka is a high school student who possesses a special ability to control the mind of another person for 5 seconds at a time. Although it seemed useless at first, Yu eventually made the most of his ability, and cheated his way into an elite academy where he now maintains the false image of an academic prodigy. He is admired by his fellow classmates for his grades and good looks. Ignoring the advances of the other female students in the academy, Yu sets his eyes on the so-called Yamato Nadeshiko of the school, Yumi Shirayanaji. Yu uses his ability to cause a large truck to speed towards Yumi as she crosses the street, and he pushes Yumi out of the truck's path, saving her life but endangering countless civilians. As thanks for saving her life, Yumi asks you to eat pancakes with her. After that fateful encounter with Yumi, Yu is summoned to the student council room where the student council president reveals that Yu has been accused of cheating after getting a perfect score on an aptitude test. Under the threat of expulsion if he refuses to retake the exam in the room, Yu sits down to retake the exam and prove that his score was not a result of cheating. Yu possesses the student council president to look at what was allegedly his previous exam, but all the student council president has in his hands is a handful of gravure pictures. Infuriated, Yu rips the pictures to shreds with the student council president's hands. A girl by the name of Naoto Mori, who acts as the student council president of another school, captures this on camera and proves that Yu has been using his ability to cheat on exams. Despite being caught in the act, Yu refuses to back down, and eventually leaves school grounds. Meanwhile, Nao's companion, Jojiro Takajo, uses his own kind of pseudo-teleportation ability to pursue Yu. He manages to capture Yu after indiscriminately wrecking the town with his uncontrollable movements. Jojiro turns him into Nao, who urges him to transfer to their school, Hashinami Academy, because there are many other students with special abilities like him there. Yu refuses, but he was quickly subdued by Nao, who reveals her ability to make herself invisible to a single person and pummels him with impunity. Yu arrives at home and where his younger sister, Ayumi, greets him. She tells him that she received the documents for his transfer to Hashinami Academy on a scholarship. The day after, the two siblings move to a high-rise condominium unit near the school. Yu meets with Yumi once again to talk about seeing each other in the future, but Yumi decides that, given new circumstances brought about by Yu transferring schools, it is not feasible for them to date in the future. In the end, Yumi dumps Yu, which leaves him crushed. Nao and Jojiro visit Yu unannounced, and they help the Otasakas move into their new apartment. Later that night, Yu also learns about the band Hello Hello, sung by a famous artist named Yusa Nishimori. That same night, Yu dreams about a mysterious boy walking alongside him and Ayumi, like the one Ayumi had said to visit her dreams often. Yu Otasaka begins his first day in Hashinami Academy with a healthy dose of Ayumi's omelette rice and a welcome from the school's student council president, Naoto Mori. Nao explains about the nature of the student body, which consists of people with even the smallest possibility of developing a special ability, and tells you that the school acts a haven to them, preventing anyone from being turned into guinea pigs by groups of interest outside the school's influence. Yu is later admitted into Class 1B, joining Nao and Jojiro's class, much to his chagrin. At lunchtime, as Yu realizes that he is going to eat the same thing as the night before, Jojiro takes him to the school cafeteria. The cafeteria is packed with students when they arrived, so Jojiro decides to use his ability to get a quick purchase of sandwiches for the two of them, at the expense of getting himself injured again, although he assures you that the armor he wears has protected him from most of the damage. After returning to their classroom, Yu notices that Nao seems isolated from the rest of the class. Jojiro explains to you that Nao has developed a negative image among her fellow female students due to her using her ability to enact violence, although he also clarifies that Nao was different during middle school. Suddenly, Nao summons Yu and Jojiro to the student council room, where a comrade of theirs, a student that is constantly dripping wet, momentarily shows the location of their next target, a thoughtography user from Namba High School. Now Yu and Jojiro spend much of the day in Namba High School after receiving the report, asking about someone who is involved in photographs. Nao eventually gets a lead and asks Jojiro to subdue a student who has photos of a schoolmate whose clothes are made transparent through some unusual means. The lead takes them to Udo from Class 2E, who now later discovers is the captain of the school's archery team. After taking additional evidence from his locker, Now confronts Udo with some intervention from Yu and Jojiro in the sidelines. Udo initially acts innocent, but later admits that he uses the money he earns from creating indecent photos of his schoolmates to help his sick parents. Now soon warns Udo that his activities will bring danger to him, and she urges him to stop using his abilities, and Udo hesitantly complies. Although their job for the day is done, Yu is still puzzled about the fate of Nao's older brother, which she said was her motivation for doing her duties as student council president. Seeing that there is no point in hiding the truth, Nao takes Yu to the hospital where her older brother currently resides. After a hearty beef tongue bento, one for herself, and afterwards also accruing Yu's sandwiches, Nao begins to tell the story of her past. Nao's brother was the first person to gain a special ability, and it happened around the time that she passed an admission test to a middle school that would make it easy for her to gain access to a top national university. 2. Her older brother, an aspiring musician, on the other hand, was pushing to get a debut on a major record label through his music. Nao was able to live a smooth school life in the boarding school, aside from the occasional physical exam imposed to her. Meanwhile, she was unable to see her brother again. She later learns that her brother had the ability to vibrate the air at will, and his power was discovered, and later experimented upon by scientists, hoping to use the ability to develop communication jamming technology. Yu and Nao eventually arrived at the sanatorium where her older brother is being taken care of. In his current state, Nao's older brother tries to play the guitar and make music, although no longer in the same way as in the past. Nao then tells you that a certain person has transferred his brother to a free-of-charge sanatorium, and also admitted her to Hashinomi Academy. She remains indebted to that person. Meanwhile, after serving you with a dish that has a generous helping of the family's secret pizza sauce, Ayumi goes to check the stars that night, hoping that she would see a long-orbit comet soon. Ayumi makes omelette rice for you. He tries to tell her that he does not need her to make lunch for him anymore. However, Ayumi insists since she already made it for him. Yu leaves his apartment and looks at the lunch Ayumi made for him. Yu smears the message that was written on the omelette rice and goes to school. After class, Jojiro uses his ability to hurry to the cafeteria, causing a ruckus along the way. After Yu eats lunch with Jojiro at the cafeteria, Jojiro gets a call from Nao summoning the two of them to the student council room. They are assigned to another job, which leads them to a user with two abilities: Spiritism, which is the ability to allow a dead individual to possess the user's body, and Pyrokinesis, the ability to set objects or people on fire. After investigating, the three come across popular singing idol and vocalist of the band Hello Hello, Yusa Nishimori, who is being chased by someone. With the help of her friend Sho, they fight off her pursuer, finding out afterwards that Yusa has the ability to allow a dead person possess her body, and that she is currently possessed by her older sister Misa, who has pyrokinesis. Misa later explains that Yusa was being chased when she accidentally brought home the phone of a TV producer that holds shady facts against him. Nao says that even if she returned the phone, she won't be safe. Nao devises a threatening plan to deal with the producer. That night, Yusa confronts the producer and turns into Misa, who threatens him before returning the phone to him. Afterwards, Nao informs Misa that she will have her and Yusa transferred to Hashinomi Academy, saying that the condo next to their school will be the safest place in all of Japan for her. After Yusa's loud transfer to Yu's class, Nao brings her and the others to their third job in Kanai Academy, where they believe a user with telekinesis is attending. As proof, Nao shows them footage of a baseball pitcher, Arifumi Fukuyama, who pitches a knuckle ball even though he palms a straight ball. However, Nao observes that Arifumi was about to throw a straight ball, but used his ability to position the ball and make it a knuckle ball. After confronting Arifumi, who refuses to stop using his ability, Nao holds a baseball match between Kanai and Hashinomi's teams, saying that if they win, Arifumi will stop using his ability. After 8 innings, both teams are evenly matched. In the last inning, Misa runs from second base to home with the help of Nao, and Hashinomi subsequently wins by 2-1. As a result, Arifumi agrees to stop using his ability, and Yu possesses him for a little experiment by now. The 4 student council members plan to confront a user with the ability to fly. Now decides that the student council will camp in the mountains where the user has been training to control his ability. During the first 2 nights, Yusa tells the other members about her relationship with Misa, while Yu interacts with Nao and Jojiro. The day after, the ability user confronts the council members and tries threatening them into leaving, but Nao dismisses his threat as a bluff. The ability user then steals Nao's camcorder from her and attempts to escape using his power. However, Yu manages to take over his body while he is flying and then uses the user's flying ability to break his fall, thus preventing him from escaping. Nao then convinces the user to stop using his ability. Finally, Yu heads home to eat dinner and notices that Yumi has fallen ill. While Yumi stays at home to recover, the student council learns of a student with a collapse ability in the condo complex, and now suspects that Ayumi has developed said ability, as only a sick student would be home from school at that time of day. Ayumi is visited by Yu, Nao, and Yusa for dinner and is tucked into bed at night. After Yu learns that Ayumi dreamed about the ground suddenly cracking, a worried Nao instructs Yu to tell Ayumi to stay home one more day. Although her temperature has gone down, Ayumi sneaks out and goes to school. In the corridor, after Nomura prevents Oikawa from talking to Ayumi, Konishi threatens Ayumi with a box cutter, accusing Ayumi of supposedly stealing Oikawa from her. Backed into a corner, Ayumi activates her ability, causing the school wing to disintegrate around her. As Yu desperately searches through the wreckage for any sign of his sister, he is knocked unconscious by a piece of falling rubble. Yu wakes up in a hospital and learns that Ayumi died in the school collapse. He becomes a recluse into despondency, showing no interest when Jojiro and Yusa come to visit. Yumi also comes by and expresses her concern, but he refuses her help. When government agents show up at his apartment, Yu goes on the run and hides out in a manga cafe, later using his powers to pick fights with gangs and growing more unstable over time. Before he can turn his attention to drugs, he is stopped by Nao, who has been secretly observing him the entire time. Nao convinces Yu to eat a proper meal as a bet, serving him a plate of omuris, which Ayumi had been trying to perfect using his mother's recipe. Yu acknowledges that he has lost the bet and resolves to return to the student council with Nao to work hard in memory of his sister. After Yu is welcomed back at school by Jojiro and Yusa, the student council assembles to watch Yusa's new music video. Nao invites Yu to accompany her to a zine concert since Jojiro and Yusa are not interested. Later that day, Yu comes across Sala Shane, zine's blind vocalist, who treats him to okonomiyaki at a restaurant. After she helps Yu burn incense on the altar to pay respect for the loss of Ayumi, Sala later reveals that she overcame her blindness to get to where she is now. Yu takes Sala to see Kazuki in the hospital, where she sings one of her inspirational songs to calm Kazuki from his rage. After seeing Sala off, Nao thanks Yu for helping to improve Kazuki's condition, and Yu wonders why he feels so nostalgic over Zine's music. At the Zine concert with Nao, Yu feels a familiar sensation upon hearing what is supposed to be a brand new song. He experiences an aberrant memory, in which he and Ayumi lived in a research institution in another parallel timeline where they were monitored for their abilities. When Ayumi's collapse ability caused damage to the structure, a nonconformist scientist named Setsumuchi helped Yu escape and urged him to use his true ability to plunder other people's powers. Yu eventually reached his brother, Shunsuke Otasaka, who possesses the ability to time travel. Back in the present, Yu regains consciousness, now aware of the fact that he has a brother. Yu and Nao are then approached by Kumigami, who takes them to a secret underground haven to meet with Shunsuke. In the past, Shunsuke and Kumigami, as well as their allied ability users Midoki, Shurchino and Midamori, tried to find a way to keep ability users safe from researchers with impure intentions. As Shunsuke time-leaped multiple times to find a solution, his vision grew weaker with each leap. After one final leap which left him blind, Shunsuke used his idea of establishing a safe haven to buy an educational facility to serve as a school, i.e. Hashinomi Academy. To keep them safe, Shunsuke arranged for Yu and Ayumi to be hypnotized by Midoki, and have their memories of him be erased by Midamari. In the present, Shunsuke instructs you to plunder his time leap ability and to return to the day before Ayumi died. You promptly plunders Ayumi's collapse ability, keeping her from accidentally using it. Later on, you and now use their powers to scare off Konishi so that she cannot harm Ayumi. With Ayumi finally safe, Kumigami takes her and you to Shunsuke. Shunsuke urges you to stay with Ayumi at the safe haven until his abilities disappear. In the research facility, Tsutsumichi explains that people possess their special abilities as a result of inhaling particles spread by a short-period comet called Charlotte, which passes Earth every 75 years. A vaccine is being prepared before the next pass of the comet. Shunsuke's aide, Furuki, is threatened into handing Kumigami over to a group of foreign terrorists in a factory. The terrorists torture Kumigami to inquire information about ability users, allowing the terrorists to hold Nao and Kumigami hostage in exchange for you. Upon ensuring the safety of Furuki's family, Yu goes to the factory to ransom Nao and Kumigami but is attacked by a female ability user who slashes his right eye, preventing him from time leaping. Yu activates his collapse ability, disintegrating the factory on top of them all. Although Yu manages to use telekinesis to protect himself and the female ability user, Kumigami is impaled by a metal pipe as he shields Nao from the wreckage. Yu wakes up in the hospital with Madoki, Shurchino, and Midamari at his bedside. He learns of the permanent loss of his right eye and the devastating death of Kumigami. Ayumi, Jojiro, and Yusa each visit during Yu's rehabilitation. Also, Yu encourages Misa to express appreciation for her parents while she still has a chance, being given this opportunity when Yusa hosts a television food report on their family restaurant. After Shunsuke explains that Japan will be involved in terrorist attacks soon, Nao suggests for you to travel overseas to plunder the powers of all ability users worldwide, though this could risk his sanity. He accepts this challenge and confesses his love to her, and they make a promise that he will come home safely. She offers him to plunder her ability so she can live a normal life. He then plunders the abilities of Jojiro, Yusa, and Misa, the latter of whom leaves behind a letter for Yusa expressing how much fun she had with them all. Nao gives some foreign language flashcards to you, and he gives back her MP3 player as a vow that he will come back to her once the mission is over. Beginning his journey in the Philippines, Yu plunders an ability for seeking out other users and slowly starts taking the abilities from each user he meets, earning him a reputation as the dreaded One-Eyed Grim Reaper. At a paramilitary facility that exploits adolescent ability users, he gains an ability to detect those with dormant abilities, using an illness-worsening ability to accelerate the ability's development in order to plunder them. As he travels to various countries, he begins to suffer from extreme stress and borderline insanity from acquiring so much power, yet seeing Nao's flashcards prevents him from going haywire. Upon discovering the last active ability user in China, Yu is critically injured from an attack by a male bounty hunter, but Yu defends the young female ability user of courage before being recovered by Shunsuke. An amnesiac, Yu wakes up in the hospital back in Japan with Nao at his bedside. Nao informs him that they are lovers and expresses gratitude that he has kept the flashcards and their promise after all this time. With no other ability users present in the world, Yu, Nao, Jojiro, Yusa, and Ayumi look forward to the memories they will make from now on.